play of the game from way down.
Two, silence. Rainer getting absolutely
A team wipe.
The living bomb's going.
Oh my goodness, the ring. Bombs Tastingo gonna find Rainer.
All right, hello everybody. Welcome back to the Nexus Gaming Series Season 8, Week Number 1. And I need to update the stream title now because we are now a B West and changing some teams up too. I'm your host, Aero, tonight, Friday night, late night, 11:30 almost on the East Coast. And I'm going to be joined by the Nexus Cats' very own support player, Lulu.
Hello.
We've already seen some pretty exciting matches or games tonight, so this could get even more fun here. So looks like
Those games got progressively spicy in the last match.
Didn't they?
Hope the trend continues.
Okay, so I just got the bands, so let me go ahead and put those in so that we can showcase those here. So I can pull Skya over here. Skya and Alterac, and Berry and Dragonshire. Cool. All right, well, let's take a look at that. We're going to see between Spooky Ghosts and Feigned Competence here. So our map bans, I don't even know where we're going for our first map, by the way, but we'll figure that in a second here. We've got Spooky Ghosts banning out the Battlefield of Eternity and Dragonshire, Feigned Competence banning out the Alterac Pass and Volskaya Foundry. Looks like we are going to go to Cursed Hollow. So there you go. Now I do want to shout out, thank you very much for the bits there, Silvara. Also, a few minutes ago, as we were in the middle of our break, Rackham thrown out 10 community gift subs. Really appreciate that, Rackham. Now, who all got those? Let's see. Berserk, Munkus, Shui, Korix, Punkirk, Key, Mystic, Wono, and Ghostunk. So, y'all got a few extra puppies there for your emotes. And let me make sure they are on the wrong sides, aren't they? All right. Well.
I don't know these people, so I don't know.
Just letting them know that if they're gonna make me swap it, they gotta stay that way because I don't want to swap it every game. It gets too confusing on the VODs. So, you got one too, Clem? Somehow I must have missed that. I'm sorry. You got one legit stream, Aero. That intermission looked like a TV commercial. You know what? Those videos, I have no credit for those. Mongoose was great and took care of the NGS regen one, and I believe Covey, this is Covey, took care of the actual NGS season 1. They're really great, fantastic. I love them. But yeah. Make sure to change. Oh, they're swapping sides. Love it. So again, Cursed Hollow is going to be the first pick, and it looks like that was the pick of the Feigned Competence. All right. Sorry for all the chatter here. Normally a lot of this stuff would have been taken care of about, 10 minutes before the game, but we had another game. We didn't want to leave this one going uncast, so the teams agreed to wait a few minutes. Lulu decided to, stay up a little bit later because it's Friday night. You don't
I'm
have school
Central
tomorrow.
time zone. You're on the East Coast. What do you mean I'm staying up later?
Yeah, but I'm always up at this time. I don't sleep. People know that. Pro streaming by Aero Storm. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Glad you could join us. I think he came by yesterday's as well for a couple of games, so there you go. We're set. We've let them know we're set. Looks like the Feigned Competence is set, so we're just waiting on the all clear from Little Wolf and making sure the Spooky Ghosts are set. Now I'm confused. I need to check in with Spooky Ghosts because I know that they have a logo. I gotta show you guys the Spooky Ghost that just came into chat. Let me show you that real quick here. All of these ghosts. Check them out, guys. We're having fun up in here. Look at that. Look at you guys, they say, because they all coordinated their ghosts. We're spoopy ghosts, they say. All right, so Cursed Hollow. So this is maybe the first time, I think, that I'm casting this since the change. And this is such a large map that it wouldn't surprise me if we saw some different priority on heroes for those outside lanes. Anything that you can think of that might be of more value on a map like this?
Are you talking about the anomaly changes?
Yeah.
Ooh. I mean, this has always kind of been a one for some of the globals, right? Daka just sit and soak. Pop in at the last second.
For sure. Dahaka, I think Dahaka goes up a little bit on his stock on a map like this with the global and also the fact that he's, wanting to be right in that lane. The Falstad, Zagara, like those are. I think Falstad's a little squishy now to try to be a solo laner. I feel like he is now more of like a rotation ganker, 4-man type of thing, and mostly used for his gust. Azmodan, an interesting ban because Azmodan has kind of gone down in value, and quite frankly, I think this is his worst map because it's so large. He doesn't quite work the way he did originally, and also now he can't just globe stomp minion waves.
Yeah, there are still some small choke points around the tributes that he could get some dunk value on the whole team.
For sure. Zulril saying, hey, I've been here. And B-Train catching the Osmo man. See, I'm not the only one. Just like, well, I don't know. I don't get it. We'll see. Welcome to the B West, folks. As Rogoth picking up the Diablo. Gonna be the first pick. A direct change to what we've seen so far from our earlier games tonight.
Yeah, no Johanna yet.
Neither picked or banned, surprisingly. I should probably make sure that all the names on this teams are correct. All right, then. We're going to see an Alarak. So I guess I don't remember who it was who had the question earlier in chat, but we'll see what the answer is on the Alarak build. Chef Steve. Oh, goody. Eric with a K coming in with the Medivh. And that is an interesting pick. So that's going to help them with countering that Alarak a little bit. It's also going to allow... Man, Diablo can go so hard now.
This is the spice I wanted from this game.
Isn't it, though? So there's the ban onto the Dahaka, which makes sense. I mean, we kind of talked about his value. Free Alarak, says Zil Rules. Where's Contender when you need him? Right? Yep. There are a few people that that play some Alarak. And Zagara. And, oh, yeah, so I didn't get to finish my point on the Zagara. So, Falstad, I thought, global, you know, probably not as great anymore with the changes. But Zagara, I don't feel like she's as much in danger when she, you know, goes to sit in a lane.
Yeah, and they just changed some of her abilities and talents, too. I don't know how exactly that affects her in the lane, but...
Well, we're going to see an Falstad Hanzo. So, overall, a pretty squishy team on the side here of Feigned Competence. So, they're going to need a really beefy tank. I wonder who that might be.
If only there was a big beefy tank that just liked to stand in the middle of everything and wasn't picked or banned.
Really, both teams here are remarkably squishy, although, you know, the Medivh obviously is going to help to prevent big bursts of damage onto the side of Spooky Ghosts.
And you've got the sound barrier also from Lucio.
So what do you think? Is it Johanna? It might not be.
It's gotta be, right?
Might not be. They can do like a Mal'Ganis. I think I've seen some solo tank. I was thinking maybe the Anub'arak, especially with the damage that Kael'thas and, you know, Medivh bring, and the Cocoon does help to lock down the Medivh, so fair enough. Ooh,
So now this is really different than the last match.
Right?
Because she's just not here at all.
All right, well, here we go. Oh, I gotta do the poll. Gotta do the poll. Spooky Ghosts and Feigned Competence. Yep. Start that poll. So make sure you guys check in on that poll. Which team do you think is gonna win game number 1 here between Spooky Ghosts and Feigned Competence? Ravenex, this is now the 4th draft that I have seen Solo Warrior, and I'm legit sad. Fair enough. All right, Lulu, which one would you like to introduce here?
I'm gonna be honest, I don't know which team is which, so...
Oh, that's fair. Yeah, so Spooky Ghosts, we'll go on the left here. We got Boundary X on the Phoenix, Rogoth on Diablo, Calidius on the Kael'thas, Little Wolf going to be playing the Lucio, and who's playing Medivh? It was Eric with a K, I knew that.
3, 2.
On the right for Feigned Competence?
They've got Hyperbole on the Anub'arak, Rainbow Lance on Alarak, Totem Colt on Hanzo, Chef Steve on Falstad, and Captain Squiddy on Anduin.
Alrighty, and as you can see, the teams identifying that they do have a banned skin, or I guess not a skin, it's a banned mount on the Hanzo there. But both teams okay with proceeding, so that's nice and easy to deal with. We don't have to remake anything. But looks like this Alarak is going for that E-build, so whoever said, you know, it was a problem that I said that, that's not my fault. I'm just calling it like I see it here. But up in the top lane, Phoenix already getting that soak, pushing the minions in here. And of course, most of those globes Alarak's still going to be able to get, even though he wasn't anywhere nearby with that 6 seconds of the globe time. And Chad is not happy about the lightning surge talent. Oh my goodness. But that's okay. We'll see how this turns out. We do have the Stormbow for Hanzo and Seasoned Marksman for Falstad. So there's a deviation right there instead of going into that Bride build. And Hanzo already getting over onto the Siege Camp. Siege Camp is going to go into the bot lane. And this first tribute is in the bot, so that makes sense. They want to get that first. And then they can zip up, grab their Bruiser Camp to put some pressure away from the lane that they're going to be participating in. But Spooky Ghosts doing the same thing, and that's probably not the most optimal scenario for them. as you know, ideally it'd be a little bit better for them to do that siege camp once the tribute came up. Lucio getting the quick, well, Lucio and Kael'thas getting the quick portal down here, rotating down to deal with this bottom lane siege camp quickly. We also do have advanced targeting for the Phoenix, giving him that extra laser circle. And what else do we have here? Soul Shield for Diablo and Portal Mastery. So Medivh going to be able to put up those portals pretty much wherever he wants, whenever he wants. And here comes that first tribute, and Medivh rather getting pulled, stunned, and if Squiddy actually lands that chastise there, that's a dead Medivh, but just a little bit off on it. And with the tribute coming up here, we are going to see Spooky Ghosts onto their bruiser camp. But Feigned Competence not getting on theirs. So all of that pressure is going to come from the side of Spooky Ghosts. Showcase these talents again here. So Alarak versus Phoenix in the top lane. I'm going to want to check that out here in a bit. But this fight here in the bot lane... Still early. Medivh has how many stacks? 17. It needs to be fairly defensive. Again, these teams... Oh, the leap of faith pulling that living bomb into the team. You got to be careful about that. Lulu, you never do that, right?
No, never, ever, ever. I sometimes, you know, they still die from the living bomb, but...
Yeah, fair. Well, the Diablo charging in onto Falstad as a Nubarak charging in onto the back line of the Spooky Ghost team. So, again, this is a little bit of a surprising setup because both of the tanks want to be up in front and engaging into the back line of the enemy team, which leaves the entire enemy, like both teams are kind of just dealing with a tank in their back line. And they're all squishy, but Falstad's going to get the living bomb, maybe the first to die, but is able to get that barrel roll over the wall. And now we've got the Alarak and the Phoenix coming in here. Bo charged in onto the Diablo. Alarak's getting that silence, but he's out of mana and spreading the living bomb over to Squiddy here. Falstad flying back in with full health and full mana. The only one able to really do that, as Medivh given that portal to come over here, pop the well, and get back into this fight. But all the while, that camp's been going in the mid lane here as Anubarak heading up. Diablo getting very low, but because the Anubarak had to come up here and try to get some defense against this mid camp, the first tribute's actually going to go over to Spooky Ghosts. So this is a little bit of a different Anduin build as well. Getting the binding heal along with inner fire, so getting that additional attack range and attack speed. But not going into the Pursued by Grace at level 1. So do we see something like, well, Varian's Legacy wouldn't provide any healing then, so I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm gonna have to ask Captain Squiddy about that later. Remind me to ask about that. Anduin build. Nope. Nope, sorry. Diablo getting the charge onto the Beetle there. And Chastise coming out. Didn't quite land on the Diablo there, so... a little bit of poke, but it doesn't matter. They don't get the stall. Hanzo did try there, but not quite able to land the ability. But Alarak getting the silence in onto Phoenix. But he's able to warp away just at the last moment there. Thoughts on level 10? I mean, it's yeah, Swool's like, what? What? Pursued by Grace? What? Deadly Charge? You think? I think you guys are memeing. I think it's got to be Counter-Strike for the Alarak, right? Actually, Actually, I don't know. I suppose it could be Deadly Charge. They have a really squishy team. Speaking of which, Anubrak diving in does get flipped, and that's going to be the first blood just under 7 minutes into this game. And now the tribute's coming up here, and it's not far off. It's in just above the mid lane here. Oh, and by the way, portals. Anubrak's not going to be up here, and the level 10s are available for the Spooky Ghost. So we've got the Leyline Seal, Purification Salvo, the Apocalypse, Sound Barrier, and Phoenix. Level 10's now available here on the side of the Feigned Competence. And there's that Leyline Seal. It is the Counter-Strike, indeed. Diablo getting put into the cocoon, so they're looking for some kills here. Eric with a K on the Medivh, though, getting very low. We did see that Hanzo arrow coming out, and the Hinterland's Blast getting the kill onto Medivh there. So a 4v4 here as the curse picked up by Spooky Ghosts. So we did get the Light Bomb from Anduin. We saw that Hinterland's Blast, we saw the Dragon Arrow, we saw the Counter-Strike, and we saw the Cocoon. So whole lot of various variety in the ults here. And also, by the way, we've got a bruiser camp that was picked up here. Feigned Competence gonna get some alleviated pressure in the mid, but Boundary X having to run away here as a 3-man rotation coming in, trying to seek out this Phoenix, getting the portal out, and that's a lot of time that Feigned Competence has spent chasing after a Phoenix, and they're losing structures. There's a massive wave up in top. But this bruiser camp in mid lane is actually doing quite a bit, helping to build up the pressure against that minion wave so that they don't lose that middle fort. But with that portal right over that wall, they head over to the bruiser camp, and I think this is a quick, easy, you know, boss call. They see that Anduin's middle, they see that Anubrak is up top, and that's exactly what they're gonna do. Shock and awe, yeah, indeed.
Are they gonna go for their own boss here?
It looks like they are. Maybe? I mean, they gotta start it. Yeah, I was gonna say, somebody's actually gotta hit the thing. It doesn't just die because you show
here
up.
comes Scouty Bird.
And he does have Leyline too, so if he can find a good angle, this is a quick capture and then a portal over the wall. Well,
Yep.
Leyline goes out. They do get the Apocalypse here, but Phoenix goes into the whatchamacallit, the cocoon here. Alarak's gonna be the one to fall, so they get the kill onto Falstad, Alarak, and now the Anubrak as well. Looks like Anduin following shortly thereafter. And with level 13s here and the entire team here, this looks like this should be a keep. And by the way, there's a boss in the bot lane too. And they're getting mid fort with their bruiser camp from earlier.
Boss in top, boss in bot, camp mid. Feels bad, man.
Diablo looks like having to hearth, as he's got absolutely no health left. So maybe they don't get the top fort, or the top keep rather. But they're gonna get a lot of damage on it. And portal's coming around here. Oh yeah, to keep their movements quick and getting the vision here. Now this tribute, not specifically worth that much to any one team. Either team can give this up if they choose to do something else elsewhere. And we can see that Medivh is doing his job, keeping an eye on what's going on in the enemy's base. I don't know, is there a ghost emoji for Twitch? There is.
Is it spooky?
There you go. I just showed it. It's pretty spooky. I mean, I wouldn't want to meet it in a back alleyway. So Siege Camp now picked up for Spooky Ghost. They do have all of their structures And of course, that top lane is the weakest lane so far for the side of Feigned Competence. They've got about 2/3 of that fort down. About 3/4 of that fort down. And by fort, I mean keep. Why do they have to call them different things? But Spooky goes... Go ahead.
Oh, they're taking out the bottom wall too, so now there's only one keep wall left.
Indeed. Big leyline seal here. Coming with the Apocalypse, which is gonna land on 3. Light Bomb going out onto Falstad, but he dove away. Cocoon going out as well. But Anubarak's gonna get caught and slammed into that wall. And that's gonna be... Oh, and apparently Alarak dead in there somewhere too. I completely missed that. And this is definitely a keep. Now, 20 seconds until these heroes are back up on the map, so... I don't feel like Spooky Ghost has the siege that they need to be able to bring this down quickly.
You say that.
Yeah, but they do have level 16s, so this is actually going pretty well. It's faster than I expected. Diablo getting pulled in here. He's not really the main threat in the damage here, but he is going to be the one that goes down first.
Phoenix just sat there auto-attacking that entire time on the core.
Yep. That's going to be game number 1, going over there to Spooky Ghosts.
Too spooky for me.
Too spooky for you? Alarak getting mega stacked. Alarak died. That's probably what E-Train's talking about. What do we got here? Push forward damage. An enemy hero grants 2.5 movement speed. So, oh, did that change? I feel like that was a different percentage before. Maybe I'm just crazy. I don't know. 9 kills to 2. It definitely felt like there was more. You know, it felt like that was very much in Spooky Ghost's favor throughout that map. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you don't need a lot of kills if they're just impactful ones you get.
Indeed. All right, so what do we got going on here for our next map? I may have gotten a message. I did. Oh, yep, never mind. That was them just saying, yes, they did have the band set. I thought it maybe was telling us where we were going next. All right, let's take a look at the maps. See what we got, see where we can go. So game number 1, Spooky Ghosts pretty decidedly won that game. That was a Feigned Competence map pick. And the bans here were on Volskaya Foundry and Alterac Pass from Feigned Competence. Spooky Ghost banned out the Battlefield of Eternity and Dragonshire. So that leaves us here Braxis Holdout, Towers of Doom, Sky Temple, Tomb of the Spider Queen, and Infernal Shrines. So if we go simply based on statistics, it's most likely that Tomb of the Spider Queen or Infernal Shrines will get picked. But I kind of want to see like a Towers of Doom or a Braxis Holdout. What about you? Do you have any preferences on any of those maps? A
Towers of Doom is
particular
always
favorite?
fun.
Yeah.
The situations that can come up with balancing the towers and the altars and make it a lot of fun.
Well, you know what? We talked about it's not going to be Towers of Doom, but we did talk about this map a little bit earlier. Do you want to wager a guess?
Sky Temple?
It is Sky Temple.
Hey! Nexus Cats, please watch how fun this game is.
I don't know which team selected, but we'll find out here in a moment. Monk is saying prefer Towers or Braxis. But it's not either of those. Although, to be fair, I think that's what I said too. So, good call, Monkus. I agree.
Monkus.
Oh,
just
Monkus.
not Sky Temple.
Oh, fair enough. Oh, chat's not super happy with the Sky Temple, but that's okay. What do they know? They're just chat.
Aero insulting all his viewers with one comment.
Exactly. All 48 of you. You know nothing. You know nothing, chat snow. Looks like we have one person that is either swapping or disconnected. One sec, one guy's restarted comp. Okay, so one of the players had to restart, so that's fine. It's okay. We don't have any matches coming up after this. We got all the time in the world. We can be up all night. We can have NGS after dark. Actually, I don't think we can do that. I think Cheer 69 is going on, so I don't want to usurp any of their viewers. Chat MVP. I love that. Where did you get that? Channel COHH Carnage. I don't even know who that is. Alrighty. Hey, Problematic Hysteria. Thank you very much for the bits. I really appreciate it. Saying, I just realized that you're a streamer and I've had you on my friends list for months now. You know what? A little bit different. I don't tend to stream the actual games that I play, but I enjoy casting other people's. It does sound a little dirty, Monkus. That is true. All right, letting him know. But yeah, I do appreciate the bits. And having you stop by. Make sure you also hit the follow button so that you get the notifications, because I do this once or twice a week. You know, something like that.
Once or twice a day.
Okay, fair enough. So you know what? While we're kind of hanging out, do you know when your guys' next game is, Lulu, for the next Cats?
I believe our next matches are Monday and Tuesday. We've got a flex match one of those days and our week 2 game the other day.
Excellent. Getting those flex matches in early in the season, that's really awesome.
Yes, we don't want to be shamed by our div mod.
That's probably for the best, because I know you're a div mod, and he's kind of a jerk.
There was a whole list last year. It was color-coded. Had to yell at Arthanau a lot.
Yeah. Don't worry. There's still a list.
Are you waiting until after Christmas?
Yeah, actually. So for those of you that are not familiar with Div C of last season, I've got a spreadsheet that just keeps track of the flex matches, whether they've been played, when they're scheduled, things like that, and then all these pretty colors that show whether you're a good doobie or a bad doobie.
When is Region Phoenix next match?
Our next match is actually Tuesday at, I think, 9:30. And it is also a flex match.
Nice.
So there you go. Oh my goodness. So apparently it's the ghost thing that when you ask if they're ready, they have to spam out their various ghosts, and then they are ready. So there you go.
That's the kind of team synergy that I'm a huge fan of.
Absolutely. I mean, that takes some coordination, because it's not like to you guys in chat, you can see, hey, look, there's 5 ghosts there, but what you didn't see was how quickly they all came out. It was kind of like a Cocoon Warp Rift Chromie Sandblast level of destruction. All of the things just lining up and happening at once. Oh, I need to write down the heroes from last game. Well, first man's coming up here. So last game it was Uther. Do we stick with the Oather? Could stick with the Oather.
And
All
they
right.
do.
Now, Asmodan, I still feel like he's not very good for this map, but he's better for this map than for Cursed Hollow. So, I don't know. I'll be interested to see if they go with the Asmodan ban, but I feel like that there were definitely heroes that were more impactful.
Yeah, and that could be something from scouting they saw and they were worried about, or they've just had a very bad experience with Asmodan in the past, and they're just like, nah, we're just not even gonna mess with it.
Could be. Now, I gotta say, sticking with the auto ban's fine. Last round they banned out the Greymane. These guys banned out Asmodan here, so we'll see if that's the case again. But they banned out the Greymane last round. Oh, the higher priority on the Zagara, and that actually makes a lot of sense. I can see that.
Not a ban you see very often.
I mean, they gotta ban out the Medivh, right?
You would think so? Question mark?
Oh yeah, Munkus, I'm positive that they have their own ghosts. It's just it's kind of magical to see them, you know, pop it all off at the same time. And they're gonna stick with the Kael'thas ban. All right, fair enough. Let's see. So this side was Spooky Ghost. That side was Feigned Competence. I don't know. I think that might be. I don't think that. I don't say that things are the wrong call very often, but I think that might have been the wrong call. I think that, you know, Medivh gets a lot of value here, and but we'll see. We'll see. There's the Alarak. Switching sides, we'll have to see if Boundary X goes the E Lightning Surge build as well.
If he takes a build that Chad approves of.
Exactly. But we're gonna see Junkrat and Anduin, and you know what? Junkrat's cool. He can work pretty well into a lot of these areas, so good deal. Uh-oh. I just screwed something up. Oh well, I'll deal with it in a minute. Alright. Is this the Medivh? Do we see a Medivh? I don't know if Medivh works with Alarak.
Drum roll.
It's not. It's gonna be Jaina instead. Alright, so there you go. Feigned Competence can be like, bad caster, he doesn't know what he's talking about. Because clearly he doesn't know what he was talking about.
Key is to say it confidently.
Indeed. Alright, so who did I delete off of the list here?
That's good.
Well, I went to type in the hero name and accidentally deleted the player instead. So, yeah. Lucio are going to be the ban out, and that's huge with the Garrosh here. What other options do they have for movement speed for Garrosh? They could go into a Zarya still. That could work. You know what, Munkus? 100% true. You know, you can read a lot into not just Junkrat. There are a couple of other heroes that I feel like have that same kind of, like, honestly, Phoenix is another one of those, right? Like the player's ability to play Arsenal Synergy as opposed to advanced targeting really tells you a lot about, you know, their comfort level with that hero, I feel like. All right, so no Johanna, so they're going to be looking for a tank, a solo, and some additional damage. And I'm interested to see if we get an actual, like, a stronger front line. So we're going to get a Stitch's Hook. Did I say it? No, I said a tank, a solo, and a DPS, right?
Does Hanzo remember to change his mount this time?
Good question. I almost spelled horse like I was a Canadian.
How does a Canadian spell horse?
Well, I'm sure that they spell it the
Please
same way we
continue.
do, but
Love to see the chompy boy. Big fan.
you like that, Rhaegar, huh?
I like to chomp people.
Monkus really wants to see some Ragnaros. But it's going to be Imperious, and that's okay. I mean, both sides, you know, there's a lot of front line on the side of the Spooky Ghosts. Not quite as much here for Feigned Competence, but I like the Imperious. Imperious does do a lot of work and can do quite a bit of damage, too.
Yeah, less squishy teams on both sides.
Yeah, for sure. So, that being said, the Stitches is a little bit of a kind of a almost an anti-synergistic pick with the rest of his team, because he's going to want to be hooking people in, as opposed to Imperious, who's going to want to dive into somebody. You know, Anduin could potentially land those roots if on like a hook or a gorge, depending on how it goes. Hanzo's ult, got to be careful about that too. Could see a Dragon Strike with Putrid Bile, maybe? I could see a world where that happens. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But in any case, we're on to game number 2. Over here to the left, we've got Spooky Ghost currently up 1-0. Looking to close this out, we've got Eric with a K on Jaina, Calidus on the Malthael, Boundary X, playing the Alarak, Rogoth on Garrosh, and Little Wolf playing the Little Wolf on the Rhaegar.
For Feigned Competence, they've got Hyperbole on Junkrat, Totem Cult on Hanzo, Rainbow Lance on Imperious, Captain Squiddy on Anduin, Chef Steve on Stitches.
All right, so chat's already going to be happy because it is going to be the Ruthless Momentum here. And the throw onto Stitches, so into the back, already falling low, getting the silence and the pull, and that's going to be a first blood at 16 seconds into the game, possibly a second, as Rainbow Lance is getting brought pretty... No, I thought he was safe!
Chompy boy!
Rhaegar coming in, taking a bite out of crime. So there you go. Some... Oh, I didn't do the pull. I got to do the pull.
I do want to point out that Chef Steve has a chef's skin for Stitches.
Well, there you go. As you should. Spooky Ghosts or Feigned Competence. Alright, let's start that poll, see how it goes this round.
Now that those two kills have happened,
Yeah, a little bit late, sorry. That's okay, they're early game kills, they don't mean that much.
Very early. It's not gonna really have an impact here.
595 XP from 2 kills. By comparison, a full minion wave gives 480 XP. Speaking of XP, we already have here the rotation into this bruiser camp into the top lane, and it's going to allow them to get a little bit of pressure up in the top in that solo for Malthael to face off against Imperious. Garrosh took throw talent. Yeah, Garrosh seems to, depending on the circumstance, often, you know, you see a little bit of cycle. You don't see a whole lot of body check, but it does come up. But I think Wrecking Ball and Groundbreaker both have a fairly balanced number of people who prefer the talents. Let's check this out, though. We got this Bruiser Camp. Siege Camp's going in the bot lane there, but Bruiser Camp is going to get some damage onto this wall. Already 1 tower down. Malthael's going to come down and get the vision. And get back up here. And if they can get this tower down, then that leads to the control point ultimately being able to take out a full fort. Monkus with the big brain. Stitches can't hook if he's already in the enemy backline. That is technically an inaccurate statement, but I get what you're going with. Going for
Also,
it. Going for it.
can't hook if he's dead.
Oh my goodness.
Like Junkrat is? I missed that one.
I'm so good at this casting thing that I completely missed that. But up in the top here, again, this has been fully prepped now, so if Spooky Ghost can pick up that full top altar, temple, there we go, temple, then that's a fort. 50-50 on the votes. Fair enough. We'll see how this turns out.
Aero, what did you think from the draft?
I think that these teams are going to play very well, and that one of them will win. How about that?
One of them will win if they get the enemy's core to 0% before their core drops to 0%. Let me further that for you.
You know, technically speaking, you can have a game that goes at 0 at the same time. And then it's a coin flip, and it's annoying.
Have you actually had that happen?
I've seen it happen. But a big pull there from Alarak, pulling in on Chef Steve, and that's going to be the groundbreaker, stunning him. Oh, the leap of faith isn't enough. It's not. Oh, so close. Feels bad. Trap build coming out from the Junkrat, so they are going to get those silences, and of course the additional damage on the auto attacks from that level 1 talent. Additional damage on auto attacks and grenades, in fact. So mid lane down to about half here on the side of Feigned Competence. But because the full walls were up here, the top lane is basically evened out. What do we got? Q stack of 4 was still better with the nerf if he stacked it. Fair enough. But with the aggressive camp call here, Jaina, oh my goodness. That was a great throw to keep Jaina alive from the potential damage from Junkrat below. Almost didn't work in favor, because if that was like 2 seconds later, she gets thrown into the boss.
Yeah. I was hoping one of those little bombs would hit the boss.
Right? So the siege camp invade is successful. Spooky Ghost does get that camp, and up in the top here, Imperius pushing that lane forward, getting a little bit of XP, as they are about a full level behind right now. Let's check in, see where that is coming from. So mostly we got heroes, mercs. That's pretty much the difference for the XP here. So there you go. 4 kills will get you a full level if you can also get an extra camp in there. Garrosh dancing around with the chattering teeth here. And Junkrat eventually just saying, yeah, that's enough of that. Siege camp here getting some work down in the bot lane. And once again, you know, if they can get this full wall down and then hold on to that altar, then they're in great shape. But Alarak using the counter-strike that he just picked up, doesn't matter. That's going to be a great concussion mine, booping him over the wall into the fort. And that's going to give them here... They don't have level 10s yet, but at least they've got a man advantage, so they can get started on this control point.
Yeah, they also had 5v3 in the bot lane, because Malthael's pushing top, which it looks like Junkrat's going up to respond to.
Indeed. And Malthael, not known for his siege, but he is able to clear out the minions, which allows his minions to do the work.
Look, if he's left alone long enough, anybody can get a fort down.
Malthael is the true like middle manager here, and wow, Calidius just barely I guess it's Calidus just barely surviving that riptire there. And a big telekinesis coupled with a ton is going to be the end of the Imperius here, as Stitch is finishing the temple at the bottom. Oh, and it has just a little bit of health left. Yeah, show force is what, 20%, I think? Oops, that's not what I want to see. It is indeed 20%. So you can only get so much out of that. Junkrat getting the root there. Had the position for the concussion mine, but elected not to throw it Probably just because he wasn't quite sure where the rest of the Spooky Ghosts were and didn't want to really put that in, put his team in a bad position by booping the Rhaegar in and getting bitten again.
Spooky Ghost should play Leoric. I just realized that. That's a shame.
Fair enough. And Hanzo's over here with the I think that's an undead skin. Right? The spectral skin like Falstad has?
Yeah, it looks like a Davy Jones pirate.
So we've got here essentially a 5v4 as Malthael is close by, Junkrat is not, so a little bit of a walk away moment. So checking on our heroics here, we've got the Ancestral Healing, the Last Rites, Warlord's Challenge, of course the Counter-Strike we saw earlier, and the Ring of Frost. And then for the... that's all for Spooky Ghost. For Feigned Competence here, as Junkrat's trying to clear up this Bruiser camp. Got some spice. Got the Wrath of Angiris there. Along with the Light Bomb, the Putrid Bile. Junkrat's got that Riptire and the Dragon Arrow as well to round out the ultimates for Feigned Competence.
They thought about boss for half a second.
Yeah, I would say that like both teams have kind of casually flirted with the idea, but they're also, both teams are kind of hanging out down here, so they can't really get into it. They don't have like a Falstad or a Brightwing or Medivh or what have you to, you know, really zone out for that. So right now it looks like Junkrat's going to hold top. Now Junkrat, I don't know that he can actually survive for the whole channel. We'll have to see. But he does get the first fort of the game down in the top lane. Shortly thereafter, Spooky Ghost picking up the bot lane, maybe even the mid lane here as well. But as mentioned, Junkrat just doesn't have the health to sit on that control point forever.
Luckily, he has a friend, an Imperious, coming up to finish it off for him.
Yep, but that rotation now means that Spooky Ghost can jump right onto this boss, and they have no worries about it.
Just get the boss for free.
Yeah, I actually agree. With Raven and I think B-Train too, the Q quest is a lot easier. Oh my goodness, Junkrat getting thrown in, and he had just enough time to try to get a Riptire out, but yeah, not enough time to detonate it. And you know what, for what it's worth, it's probably better that that worked out that way, because now his cooldown's not, it just got reset to the 10 seconds. Big Imperious Celestial charge there onto Garrosh, but unfortunately he's got teammates, and a telekinesis and a boss stun will end your life very quickly. Telekinesis coming out onto the Hanzo next too, and this is all even. This is a 4v4 just with the boss here, as Garrosh throwing stitches out with that Putrid Bile. And the kill onto the Riptire, so no damage coming out from that. Hanzo getting the Dragon's Arrow. Big Warlord's Challenge going to be the route onto the Anduin there. And it looks like Spooky Ghost's going to go ahead and disengage. But again, they did all that without Malthael. Malthael's still up in the top, clearing lanes, getting soak, playing the single-player video game. But not for long, because suddenly single player turned into a 4-man video game, and Malthael trying to dance around here, see if he can't survive somehow, but, or maybe even get a kill with Last Rites. But that's going to be another kill here, so 7 kills to 2. And Feigned Competence getting that kill is going to give them a little bit of value here. It's going to help them to get onto these control points, get some extra siege damage.
They are still looking for 16s though, and both temples just came up.
Indeed. Now we do have Spooky Ghosts getting onto the bottom siege camp here to get things started, as that is the weakest lane for Feigned Competence right now. That's going to give them pressure along with some occasional catapults. So aside from whatever temple value they can get here, there's also that bottom lane that's going to provide pressure as well for Spooky Ghosts. And I like what they're doing here. They, you know, Spooky Ghosts has I mean, they own the map right now. They have the structural advantage, not by a ton, especially now that both of those forts go down, but it's enough. And so they're setting up, just waiting for somebody to, you know, take the bait, come in there. And they're just going to walk in and take the middle temple because Junkrat's down in the bot lane dealing with what's going on down there. Their throw is going to throw Imperius out with the light bomb, so that doesn't hit, but Ring of Frost does. But Jaina's going to go down in the back there as Stitch is all up in her grill. And Garrosh getting, I believe, a concussion mine out. And we've got now 3 kills, so great plays here from the Feigned Competence team to get in there, get these kills. All the while, of course, that was essentially a 5v4 for most of that, as Malthael was coming over here to get this bruiser camp, but there you go. It's free bruiser camp for the Feigned Competence folks. So what do you think, Lulu? Minute left on the boss. Both siege camps around the same time, a minute or 30 seconds.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's not a lot that Feigned Competence can do, even though they had that window where they were up 5v2. They got one siege, bruiser camp. They're able to push out the lane some, but not get any structure damage.
Yeah, and that's the real challenge. Is you know, they did get a 3-0 kill set, but they weren't able to get anything permanent. They just made things, moved the needle a little bit more in their favor. And Junkrat all by himself down here as the rest of the team is showing top. Maybe looking to push with this bruiser camp. I don't know. I don't think they've quite got the... I was going to say, I don't think they have quite the siege to run a race between them and Spooky Ghost if Spooky Ghost wanted to push down on the bot lane. So I actually like that they pulled it back.
Feigned Competence has almost caught up in experience now, though, with that the 3 kills and the time they had to soak lanes.
That is true. Yeah, they're very close here. Level 20 is just half, 3/4 of a level away here. And the boss is up. So we've seen a lot of split between Junkrat and Malthael going kind of off to do... I don't want to make it sound like the wrong thing, you know, but they're doing their own thing. So kind of want to see a full-on just brawl 5v5. And right now, this could be the moment. I mean, neither of these teams are level 20. And Spooky Ghosts decided to get this boss pulled here. And here comes the rest of Feigned Competence. Wrath of Angiris is gonna lift up the Garrosh into the backline here. Watch for this Warlord's Challenge soon. Never mind, just gonna throw him out. And Stitch is just barely getting a toe onto this control point as they are getting the kills. Is this a 5-man wipe? It is? Maybe?
Not yet. Yeah, there it is. And they get the boss.
and that's game, right? I mean, like, they have plenty of time. They don't have great siege, but they have, you know, some siege, and the boss should allow them to get this keep pretty easily, right? I mean, this has to be game. It has to be, right? I don't know. I don't know that they can do the damage that they need to. It certainly gets them level 20s, though. And they at least will have an advantage as this boss is going to be about 3/4 health.
No, they just end here. There's way too much time.
It certainly looks that way. This core is going down pretty quickly. And it does look like...
against the world.
Oh,
Right here.
Garrosh can do it.
No.
Oh, maybe not with a concussion mine.
Pooped away.
And there you go. So Spooky Ghost throwing the game away on that boss kill. Just a little aggressive, trying to get that pre-20, and, you know, I mean, Maybe if the team was in the top lane, they could have been successful with that, but they were too close by. Do you remember which team? That was the
It was
red
an
side.
Alarak first pick there.
Yeah, and Uther was the first ban, so that was definitely that
Yes.
side. Okay. Indeed. So we're going to get a game 3. This is not our first game 3 of the season. It's not even our first game 3 of the night. Dax, don't need to worry about XP orbs when you're dead.
It
Yeah.
does make it really hard to soak the orbs.
It does.
Although, if you're a spooky ghost, you should be able to soak XP death,
Fair
in
enough.
my opinion.
Fair enough.
Blizzard probably doesn't agree with that, but you know.
But you know what? Blizzard doesn't really support this game that much anymore, so clearly our opinions are more important. Right? Isn't that how this works?
That's true. They're not saying anything about this game. We're the ones here. We make the rules now.
Exactly. All right, so 1-1 now in this best of 3 series. Next game decides who wins. And you know what? This is B West, game number 3. So let's go ahead and just take a quick break. We'll be back in just a couple minutes.
A king has fallen. A father. A friend. A warrior. Defender of the Alliance. He was a beacon of hope. A leader without measure. A man who would never accept defeat. He was our shield against the storm. Wherever he has gone, Varian Rin will remain a hero. Always.
so cute.
All right, everybody, we're back, and the teams are ready to go. So we're going to get right into this as we're going to Tomb of the Spider Queen, and this map was selected by Spooky Ghosts with their first map pick of the evening. So 1-1 is the current score. Got a best of 3, which means that whichever team wins tonight in this game is going to be the winner of the match, and that puts them. I know. I feel like I'm just like, what other obvious things can I say? Also, water is wet, which actually
These
is probably
are all
not true.
Statements, Aero.
Water will make you wet. That sounds. Never mind. Okay, so Anna's gonna be
Water
the
will
ban.
make you moist. Moist
Oh
weenus.
my.
Great guy. Is Tier 69 over?
I have no idea what time they finish.
Okay. Well, that may or may not be going on. Anna and Uther bans. That's been the same for the whole match.
I feel like we're going back to game 1. What's a good build for Imperius not to play him? I've already failed that step. Oh, fair enough. I don't know. I like Imperius. I think that he can get a lot of work done.
Kael'thas ban. Yep.
I feel. Is this game 2?
Is this all the games?
It feels like game 2. Well, but the order is game 2. Game 1 was different.
Oh, okay.
Do you think we'll see another Alarak? Alarak so far tonight has not been the winningest of heroes.
Is he the bad luck charm?
It certainly seems to be.
There's the Asmo ban.
Now, I mean, if they're gonna ban Asmo, this is the map I'm quote-unquote okay with it. If they win, please ask why they're banning Uther. Will do. Aero, no Aero. Diablo gonna be the first pick. Did you just say that? You probably did, didn't you?
I didn't, but
Oh,
Diablo
okay.
is the first pick,
Oh, hey, cool.
which is switching it up. It's like the reverse of game 1. That did not happen in game 1.
We haven't seen Johanna in this matchup yet, have we?
She was banned in the last game. That was the third ban by
Yeah.
the Spoopy Ghosts.
Yeah. So there you go.
So finally, she gets to come out and play.
Now, remind me, did Johanna won all the games earlier today, right?
First 2 games, yes. I do not remember. This is the 6th game in like 2 hours. It's running together a bit.
That's fair. Well, we're gonna see a Kel'Thuzad, so KT is coming back onto the map, just in a different way. Oh no, but you know what? It's KT with Diablo. I feel like that's just... I don't know. Oh, Zagara, interesting. This is a very small map. I don't think Zagara gets quite as much value here, but... Alright, fair enough. Bets on a Probius pick. I don't think it's likely, Tem.
Has Slim taught anybody of his Probius ways?
I mean, he said he was like a 133 Probius player, so I don't know very many people that can compete with that. And Hanzo
So
going to be the
he
last
could
one.
coach an army of Probiuses.
That sounds horrifying, and I hope that that never happens. Because I
should
watched
get him
that
in
game.
touch with my my friends in Div D.
I mean, that was Div C.
Get the team Probius is Div D Aero. Oh, Medivh comes back, and this time he's got Gul'dan with him. That doesn't seem accurate in WoW lore.
What are you talking about? Medivh
Oh, wait.
brought Gul'dan.
Yeah, you're right.
Gonna need a new co-caster. This one seems to have forgotten everything about Warcraft lore. Wait, is that? No, that's the same. Thrall and Cassia. You know, they both picked at the last moment there, and because they were popping up at the same time, for the briefest of moment, I was like, oh, is this a Cho'Gall? Clearly,
that's
it was
the
not.
spice we're missing tonight. We've seen a lot of fun
Blaze.
things.
That's
no
not gonna be Blaze.
Cho'Gall.
Can't be Blaze.
Cho'Gall. Damn. You were
Nailed
right.
it. All right. Let's get this new poll up. What was the result of last one? It was 50-50, right? Yeah, it was. All right. New poll. Who wins game number 3? And go. Let's see what you guys think. Who wins this game? Just wait until Deathwing is allowed. Deathwing is a giant glacial spike, basically. Nope, that's not the right one. There we go. That being said, it was not fun playing Kel'Thuzad into Deathwing at BlizzCon when they also had a Johanna. They both just jumped on my face, and that was the end of it. Alrighty, let's go ahead and introduce our teams. You know what? Why don't you go ahead and introduce your team, because they just won the last game.
Yeah, so Feigned Competence, they got Hyperbole on the Kel'Thuzad, Chef Steve on Diablo, Totem Cult on Cassia, Rainbow Lance on Thrall, and Captain Squiddy on the Squiddy Boy, Skov.
Alrighty, on the left here, we've got Eric with a K on the Raven Medivh. Calidus on Gul'dan, Rogoth playing the Johanna, Little Wolf on Anduin, and Blaze going to be played by Boundary X. Alright, so Blaze taking Adrenaline Stim Pack. I think that's the 3rd different talent we've seen just tonight, maybe? I don't remember.
We've seen everything except for the quest.
I think so. Also, the Fell Flame build for Gul'dan, so a little bit of a deviation there, not going into the Echoed Corruption. What else do we have? Oh, and Kel'Thuzad going into the Death and Decay stack quest, as opposed to the Chain quest. So definitely some different talents here. Interested to see how this turns out for these guys.
It's a
And yes.
Stukov level 1.
Yeah, and 75% saying Spooky Ghosts are going to win this game.
They got that Medivh again, man.
Indeed. On the other, I think it was Raven, maybe somebody else, but, made the comment of, hey, yeah, so coordination with Diablo, you can chain off the flips and things like that. Absolutely true. Even just a charge into a wall gives you an opportunity. I've just had a lot of challenges with that.
Has it hurt you before?
Yeah, but you know what? I mean, if these guys have practiced it, and obviously they, well, I shouldn't say obviously, presumably they have, then, we'll see how it turns out for them. Taking Dragon Strike seems like an awful life decision. Yeah. Oh, I see what you're talking about, Deathwing, yeah. So, Bruiser Camp here picked up in the mid lane for Spooky Ghosts. Gonna be watched over by the Guardian of Tears Fall. I think.
Oh.
Maybe? I don't know.
Blaze?
Yeah, Blaze missed that jet propulsion, so he didn't get the stun. But gets a portal to come on out.
Straight into tower range. That looks like me on Blaze.
Just got that moment of, hey, just checking. Now, Medivh is going to get 9 gems turned in, so 33 to 14 on the gem count here so far. Sometimes you must do evil to defeat evil. That is a deep conversation to have at 12:30 in the morning.
That's how people become supervillains. They're like, no, 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 I just have to do this thing for this all to get better, and then, you know, kill all the Titans.
Exactly.
Something. How's that WoW War? Huh?
Yeah, it's going great. Oh, looks like Boundary X here getting caught by the team. Makes it out with 50 health there, although Diablo coming in after Eric with a K. And not quite able to get that kill as Chef Steve flipping him. But the portals are such BS. Like, you should not be able to click on a portal that you are being body blocked from.
So is Medivh on your list of heroes that Blizzard should delete?
No, I actually like Medivh. I like what he brings to the game, and I think that, you know, he forces teams to think in a different way. He's not just like Samuro that can do everything all at once. But we've got a web weaver here for the blue team coming in. Spooky Ghost gonna get that portal in, and this is exactly what I was just talking about. Like, Medivh allows you to do things you're not used to the other team being able to do, and one of those things is just portal in right into your face and get a kill. So bottom fort is going to go down. And that looks to be about it. No damage on the towers in mid or top. But they get a full fort out of it. And that's great. At 4.5 minutes into the game, they're going to get additional trickle XP at 20% bonus. And they're also going to have occasional catapult pressure in that lane.
They're also just getting a ton of siege in up top.
Yeah, Tlim says delete KT. Now, I'm not sure if he means Kael'thas or Kel'Thuzad. All right, let's see here. So, I feel like we're missing something. No, they're right there. I thought we were missing Blaze maybe. We do get souls for Diablo, so he is quite tanky now. And with that level 1 is going to get that percent healing. But check out the rotation from that portal, right? Just like zip, get all that XP, and they're already on their way back down. Like, Anduin and Gul'dan already back in the mid lane. Near instantly.
Very curious about this Stukov talent build.
Well, Johanna's putting herself in a little bit of a danger here. Diablo looking after that Iron Skin expired to potentially come in and cause some chaos. As Johanna was just entirely by herself. Regular KT, KTZ actually takes skill to play. You know what? Fair enough. Fair enough. Point, click, living bombs do kind of suck. And let's watch KTZ here because he's falling low. But Thrall coming in just at the last moment there to keep that Bruiser Camp dream alive. Raven X. Souls completed, time to end. Yep. Sounds about the way that I play Diablo. And you know what? Speaking of minting, let's talk about some heroics here. So we've got the Leyline Seal. Oh, never mind. Diablo coming in, charging it onto Johanna, but the light bomb going out is going to get the kill onto Stukov. And, I mean, we were just talking about it. Time to end, right? There goes Diablo as the Leap of Faith pulling Johanna to safety.
Oh man, they took that fight when they don't have tin yet.
They sure did.
APOC, got the Earthquake. Lost Blast.
Now that's an interesting pickup. I'm actually interested to see how that goes. Because they did buff that a bit, so it's got a faster movement, a faster initial movement speed now. Oh my god, that's so fast! Gets 3 onto the root. The root coming out, then follow up here, but the APOC is gonna succeed in keeping them all alive. And then a ley line seal here, putting the brakes on, giving them a pause. So Gul'dan the only one to go down. Oh, by the way, Webweaver. Not quite getting as much value, but did get the wall down. Raven, Diablo, I didn't actually mean to do it. All right. We mentioned earlier about Spooky Ghost coming up into the top lane and getting the pressure onto the wall. Now it is
returning the favor.
Exactly. And there goes another Frost Blast, this one onto Medivh, only hitting Medivh, but the Stukov arm, holy cow, look at the corruption damage. Thrall trying to throw out those abilities to stay alive. Blaze coming in with the big combustion. And there goes a Blessed Shield. I'm not even sure how that hit Kel'Thuzad. That was so far. But the gems lost here. Earlier we saw about 30 of them gone here. Light Bomb coming out to stop and then stall out the Diablos. And that's going to be another kill. Johanna's going in to try to see if she can't block out those gems, but not going to stick around for that. Spooky Ghost has enough for turn. They get that turn in here. Obviously, neither of the teams are on camps or anything like that, so they're just going to start putting pressure into this top lane. There goes the ley line, just hitting the one. But Johanna coming in, the Earthquake coming out, and they're chasing down both Stukov and Thrall. Looks like Thrall is the potential danger here. Manages to just get out as Squiddy, using that massive shove to help that disengage. So we did, I don't think I ever actually finished the Spooky Ghost talents here. So we did have the Horrify, which I don't think has been used. Obviously the Light Bomb, the Blessed Shield, the Ley Line Seal, and the Combustion. We saw all those being used. And there goes another Frost Blast here. Blaze, however, getting flipped and stunned. There's that Horrify. And Pyromania coming out along with the Protect. But it's going to be Cassia here. For a moment there, I almost forgot that Cassia was in the game. I was like, wait a minute, is that actually Cassia or is that somebody else? And that's pretty significant value out of these web weavers. I mean, that bottom lane is pushed all the way in with quite a wave. Top lane has some damage on the fort. And bottom keeps going to be a little bit less than half. And Spooky Ghosts are a little bit over halfway toward their next gem turn in. Ripping Frost Blast on cooldown. Yeah, it does seem like almost like throwing it out there and seeing if you can make it work and kind of hoping. You know, hopefully they can get a little bit more coordination out of that so that they can get the combo. Right now here, Spooky Ghost pretty well in charge of the map, but Diablo getting the charge onto Johanna. There goes the Frost Blast. Because of Iron Skin, it doesn't land and cause any real danger. And there's a 4-man Ley Line Seal, Combustion coming out as well as the Light Bomb, and there's a Horrify on top of it. And that is 1, 2, make it 3 in a moment here as Kel'Thuzad gonna fall as well. And again, another 30-ish gems lost on the side of Feigned Competence. Guns with the level 70k. Yeah. So that's going to be the bottom keep now. Having that Thrall dead allows them to get that pressure. They have the siege camp, so a lot of damage coming up. Now, Johanna and Gul'dan getting chained here does kind of force Johanna to be in a position that she very likely needs to just go back.
For Feigned Competence, they did have a bruiser camp going in the mid lane through all that and almost get a fort out of it.
Yeah, very close. Just a smidge of health.
Yeah, if
And-
they can go breathe on that, that'll help them some with the XP.
Yeah, but you know what? Diablo didn't take that ult, so I don't know if that's gonna happen.
Aero.
24 gems coming in from Johanna, and actually they've got all that they need. Spooky Ghost can get a turn in. It looks like with Calidus they will get that turn in. And with this Bruiser Camp in the middle, that's going to provide a lot of pressure too. Top lane is very pushed back though. What happened there? Blaze just popping off combustions.
Like,
Here
if
comes
anyone tried to
Medivh.
hug him, he was ready.
There you go. Johanna doing a great job there of not only avoiding the massive shove, but also keeping that Frostblast out of her team. The Horrify coming out is going to get Thrall maybe killed, maybe not. Nah, definitely killed.
He was very bloody blocked for a minute there.
So Midfort now the next structure to fall. And it almost feels like this game is on a clock here. Bottom keep is gone. Mid keep wall is going down now. And there's no Thrall, so Feigned Competence is in a precarious position at this point. What do you think? Do they have him? Do they have it in them to defend this?
They might. We saw some pretty crazy things happen game 2. Maybe there's some more magic for Feigned Competence here in this game.
Well, a great place to start would be a Frost Blast that, you know, lands on several targets to keep them all locked down. But ultimately, they're going to get this top keep. Johanna going to go into peel for her team as Gul'dan getting slowed and ultimately up because they have portals.
That's thinking with portals, Aero.
Oh, I was waiting for it.
You're not the only one with great jokes.
Fair enough. And as we can see here, it is kind of fun watching the little ravens pop up and fly around after taking a portal. So, interesting enough, 19 to 17, 10 kills to 2 kills. Most of this game, much like game 1, was pretty well in favor of Spooky Ghosts.
Still haven't gotten down the mid-fort.
Yep, yep.
Oh.
And here comes the rotation in onto the camp. This is
That's unfortunate.
this is questionable, but it's gonna work out for them.
Oh my goodness.
Never mind, 3 versus 2 to make it 4 to 2 here on the kills. Only Medivh survived, and
What?
I
That
mean-
was so ridiculous. Oh, oh, bye, Castia.
all right then. So 4 to 3.
That's a shame.
So the funny thing is, just before they were doing that, I was about to say, like, they did pretty well in game 2, but then they threw because they went into an aggressive boss play that was, you know, maybe not the best place. And then immediately as I'm beginning to talk about that, they do exactly the same thing over a bruiser camp. Like, they were a half a level maybe away from level 20.
That almost worked. Oh, what? What's he doing?
Oh my goodness.
Medivh?
Does Medivh get toasted here?
What?
Wow. So Medivh took the Guardian of Tearsfall, which gives him the ability to kill all those minions just with one rift.
Okay, that's...
I assume he was just trying to keep the pressure on the core?
But he wasn't ever gonna get damage on his own. I don't know. That's...
Raven X Medivh fit into 1v6. Oh man. Level 20 is not yet here for Feigned Competence, although
and they're
that's
going
okay.
for the boss.
I mean, why not, right? I mean, they do have
fair.
a
there's
dead Medivh.
twice.
I mean, I think that... Oh, man.
I mean, they've got to do something, right? They're down
Yeah.
2 keeps already.
Spooky Ghosts, like, they don't even need to worry about that boss. That boss isn't gonna get a keep down, for example. They have 4 versus 5. Trying to go too aggressive into this, you know, could lead to additional deaths. I don't see any reason for them to, like, you know, go for core here. And so they're gonna do the exact opposite. They're gonna come back and defend this, which they needed to.
Is Feigned Competence not going to turn in?
That's unfortunate because a boss turn-in would have been absolutely huge for them. But Squiddy gonna get caught and pulled in and killed, and that's gonna leave now just Thrall in the range of the enemy team here, trying to get out. Not gonna do it. What do we got on this boss? Boss is still at half. It's not gonna get that keep, as mentioned. And Spooky Ghost gonna make the rotation. Trying to find a kill onto this Cassia. They do get the Horrify, and that's, I mean, that should be game. In theory. There goes the Leyline Seal onto the Kel'Thuzad. They need to find a way to get this kill onto Kel'Thuzad too. And there you go. And Kel'Thuzad immediately returned.
He said nah.
And so far here, getting a lot of damage out onto the front line. Ultimately, no kills yet here for Kel'Thuzad, as they are trying to defend. Diablo and Stukov will be up soon, but that's not going to be enough to prevent this. This is looking like it's going to be Spooky Ghost getting the win here. Maybe?
They are sort of backing up here.
Blaze is very low, does get the protect.
Oh, well, just melted Stukov, sure.
I don't know.
What is
I don't know.
happening right now? Oh, okay. All right. They can't keep doing this forever.
I mean, they
right?
have very little health, but I mean,
Okay.
Gul'dan?
Is he gonna use his abilities on the court?
I mean, I don't know. They do get the Cassia kill here, it looks like. Maybe. There you go. So there's nobody alive for 25 seconds. There's no way that they could possibly throw this. Okay.
There we go.
Holy cow. Sometimes you just gotta remember to push your buttons. Although I'm pretty sure that when you were talking about Gul'dan that he'd already right, makes Cassie's up, let's go again. Right? I mean, it very much was like, oh, hey, Moth Flame, like, let's go get this other thing instead of just winning the game. And that could have cost them. I mean, that Bruiser Camp, if Feigned Confidence had any kind of structure damage at all by that point, could have been game even. So let's go ahead and reach out. Make sure I have the right captain. I think that's the right one. All right, let's go to lobby 5, okay?
Okay.
Showcase the talents. So close, winning is for losers indeed, right? And gotta tell them where we're at.
Hello.
Hey, welcome, Little Wolf. Glad you could join us here tonight. Congratulations on your victory.
Thank you.
So, I'm gonna be forthright here. I'm a little tired, so I'm not gonna ask quite as many questions as I might otherwise.
Sure.
But I will ask you, you know, after that game, how do you guys feel after that? You had a little bit of a back and forth between those games. How did that go for you?
Better. I think I felt really frustrated after the second game. I feel like we miscommunicated on the second one, and that made it difficult to follow through with that game. So we kind of threw away what I think was a sizable lead that game as well. Obviously, it was a lot closer with the temples, so I was a little frustrated there. So I think we really pulled it together in that last game.
So how did you make sure that you did pull that together? Like, was there anything that you did in between games or even in the third game to make sure that you played it 100%?
We talked about a couple of things. I have a bad habit of not calling for pushes sometimes when we get advantages. So that was a conversation that we had, and then just making sure that when we're making when we're shot calling that we're being explicit about where we're going and what we're doing at any given point. Because we need to get better at that.
Sure, understood. Yeah, and I gotta say, I don't want to call out too many potential issues there, but immediately after I'm starting to talk about your guys's, hey, you just got to get to level 20, and hopefully prevent, doing something like at the end of game 2, throwing the boss play and then losing the game because of it. Like immediately as I'm starting to say that, you guys head into that fight on their side of the map on the bruiser camp. You're about a half a level away from from level 20 at that point, and it goes south. So
yeah,
like what happened like before and after? Like how did that go?
So we saw the camp there. We noticed that Diablo was top. So we saw that it was a 45 and we knew that they were on there. I called for the invade. But then at the same time, I think we were a little bit sloppy on the way that we executed that. I think I ended up being the first person to take the portal. And we did get the light bomb off, which was useful. But I think realistically speaking, I should have probably made sure that Johanna was the first person on that point. And then the Gul'dan shouldn't have taken the portal so that we would have just been able to get damage on their team that way. If we had gotten a horrified there, I think we would have been fine. That being said, you're right. I do have to pay more attention to situations like that where we're playing to not lose at that point, right? Because we had such a lead at that point of the game that while the invade is nice, they don't really get a lot from getting that camp. So we could have gone either way. I saw an opportunity. I think we could have executed it. We just didn't in that situation.
Sure. And you know what? Learning experiences, right? I mean, if you're going to have a moment like that where, you're going to lose a fight that, you didn't need to take, at least you did it when you had all of your structures up and, you were able to be back up before it became a threat to you, in the game, right?
Yeah. And,
so at least
similarly in those situations, like, just even if it's not necessarily like the best call, I do want us just to be all on the same page if we're going to do something. Right.
And you know what? I say that frequently too is if we're going to make the wrong call, at least we all make it together and we learn from the mistake. Chad had mentioned asking about the Uther bans. I want to know about the Asmo bans. Like, let's talk about those. What was so dangerous about the Uther and Asmodan that you had to ban them out on each of those games?
Who hurt you on Asmodan?
No, nobody. So I researched teams before we play them. So I went through their heroes for Storm League for the past 2 seasons and just double checked to see what the win rates on their most played heroes are. So A, I just know that Uther's a comfort pick for their team. And B, I think Uther's a character that my team kind of struggles a little bit against. I think when he's played well, he kind of disables a lot of what other heroes want to do. And I think that he's a little bit difficult to play around in certain situations the way that we play the game. So I think that's why I wanted to get rid of him. Asmodan was a little bit map dependent on Cursed Hollow. There's a lot of tight corridors. And specifically, if I was playing something like Lucio on that map, my team is already going to be grouping up quite a bit. So there's a lot of chances for him to get good value off of that. Similarly on Spider Queen, just the pushing factor was going to be kind of always present there. So, and then also the interrupts on the points were something that we wanted to avoid. Again, I also looked at their team there, and they had an Asmodan that did fairly well with him. So I wanted to make sure to get that out of the way.
Sure, good deal. Okay. Lulu, any questions that you have for Little Wolf?
I don't think so.
All right, fair enough. Well, I'll tell you what.
I'm sorry, it's really late. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I really appreciate you guys streaming the games. It'll be really cool to be able to kind of go back and look at them.
Sure. We did miss a couple of kills. I'm really sorry. There was just...
Oh, no, you're fine.
It happens, but... Okay, before we wrap up with shout-outs, what was your, or not necessarily your favorite, but what particular moment in the set tonight, did you really enjoy? And it could be a play you made, play, something that went on with your team, or something that the enemy team did well. Just give us your highlight of tonight.
I think the first game was just a really big highlight. I think we maneuvered well along the map. We were communicating all the way through. Every decision we made for the most part on that map was on purpose. And I think that's like when we're at our best. So I just that entire first game, I think, was something that we want to go back and look at what we did right.
Absolutely. And it's always just as important to understand what you've done right as to work on the things that, obviously need improvement. So there you go. Good deal.
Yep.
All right. Well, floor is yours for any shout outs, by all means.
Just shout outs to my team. They always work really hard. They put up with me, which is fantastic. So just shout outs to, I think it's Eric, Greg, Tally, and Alex. My name is Luis. Shout outs to them.
Good deal. All right, well, Luis, thanks for joining us tonight. Really appreciate you taking the time to do the interview, and also for waiting a few minutes here to finish up the other cast. Really appreciate that.
Oh no, I thank you guys for streaming. I really appreciate it.
For sure. Have a wonderful night. Go enjoy your celebration with your team.
Thanks. You as well. Bye.
Great. All righty. Well, Lulu, that's it for us tonight. We're all done.
That's it? We can't find another match to go 3 more games?
Actually, there are some replay casts.
Oh gosh, that was a joke. Please no.
All right. Well, so Lulu, do you have like a Twitter or something that you want people to follow you on, or are you good with that?
I sure do have a Twitter that I don't use very often. I think it's Lulu_hots.
All right then. There you go.
Or I'm around Discord. I'm Lulu. Hi.
Fair enough. Well, and you can find Lulu playing for the Nexus Cats next week on Monday and Tuesday. Our next game on Region Phoenix is on Tuesday. I don't remember the time, but it'll show on the calendar. So certainly make sure to check back here. Tomorrow, coming up, we've got the Division S qualifiers. So we're going to be casting one half of that bracket, in addition to yet even more NGS casting at, I think, 9 o'clock tomorrow. So make sure you tune in tomorrow for all kinds of fun and exciting NGS action. And then on Sunday, we've actually got the Heroes Lounge Mythic Cup, I think it is. But I'm not actually hosting that, but my page, I'll forward the host over there. So you can stop by, figure out where that is, and then forward over there. That'll be at, I think, 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. So lots of stuff going on this weekend to catch up on and enjoy some HOTS. So thanks again for joining us tonight, and let's see if there's anybody still doing anything in the HOTS world here to send a raid over to. Let's see. You know what? Whatever. Gravesville's playing. You guys can go check in on Gravesville.
Whatever. That's what it is.
All right. Well, let's do it. Have a good night, everybody. Thanks for joining us.